Hi, I'm Jan Risher, and I'm here in Kim Mulkey's office with the legend herself. Kim, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Jan.
So how are you today?
I'm great. I'm doing good.
Good, good. And tonight's your first exhibition game. Y'all are ready?
Well, I think that the girls are probably more ready than I am. I'm going to experiment and look at a lot of lineups, but nonetheless, it's a chance for us to not play against each other. The lights come on, we keep score, and let's see what happens.
And I hear you guys have a new documentary coming out.
Oh, that's really going to be something special. I encourage people to buy it with LSU Gold. I think there's going to be a preview November the 2nd at 8 p.m. I watched it on my phone and just tears streaming down my face, because even though I was in the moment, looking back on what we did inside the locker room, it was special. And I don't know that I've allowed anybody in my locker rooms as much as I have the people I trust at LSU. And if you have nothing to do, you get that documentary, because you'll watch it over and over.
So it's just the story of the national championship games.
The year.
The whole year.
It's the year, and it's inside the locker room. Former players, current players talking, my coaches, myself talking. The narration of it is off the charts.
Oh. When you look back at last year, I mean, so many incredible moments, but is there a moment that really stands out for you?
Too many to name one. I think obviously of the championship game, and Jan, I've been in championship games. I've won national championships, and they're all special because they're hard to do. What made this one different was being at LSU, being the first ever at LSU in basketball, period. And then it was a game where we could do no wrong. And as a coach, you dream of those games that you almost play a perfect game. And while we didn't play a perfect game, to think that we scored 102 points.
It was close.
Yes,
it was a close lead.
Yes, and perfect. To do what we did, that was the amazing part to me, because 2 games prior we couldn't score a basket against Miami. Right. And yet we go into the championship game, and it was just one of those where I just thought, this is unbelievable.
And so the documentary will air November the 2nd
at 8 p.m. for the public. Everybody can see that. But then,
it's free.
Yes, but then it will be sold on LSU Gold, and it'll be the best money you spend, because it is so good.
So one of the things that I had so much fun watching you throughout the season last year, and just watching your coaching style, and I wondered about your first coaches, your high school coach. How did she influence your coaching?
I think it's really interesting that you bring that up, because we're getting ready to have our ring ceremony on November the 9th. We're going to drop the banner, and everybody's going to get their national championship ring. And this summer, while the rings were being ordered, I was just thinking I would like to personally buy every coach that coached me a national championship ring. And the reason I thought about it now versus when I was at Baylor, all the coaches that coached me, except for one, are still living, and they live in the state of Louisiana. And I had 2 in high school, and we won 4 state championships. My freshman and sophomore year was Mary Jo Castell, and she comes to some of our games, and she, after my sophomore year, went to ULL, which was USL at the time, and coached there. And then my junior and senior year was Iwana McGee, and we won 2 state championships with her, and she got the Lamar job. She finished her career in high school at East Ascension. She's no longer with us. I think back to my AAU coaches. Gail Montalvo, who coached at the Academy of Sacred Heart in Grand Coteau until she recently retired. I think of Charlie Domino, who coached Domino's AAU in New Orleans. And then, of course, my college coaches, Sanja Hogan, Leon Barmore, and I'm going to buy all of them a ring. I'm going to bring them back for a special ceremony and introduce them, because how often is it as a head coach that you can say everybody that coached me, oh, let me include my 8th grade coach. She came to see me recently this summer, and she's still alive, and we went undefeated that year. So I want all of them to receive a ring, and we're going to invite them back for a game and have a little ceremony for them.
That is so sweet.
Well, I can be sweet when I want to be, but it's meaningful to me and probably not to anybody else.
Oh, I think it'll be very meaningful to them. And I think just the whole sentiment is a big metaphor for, you know, bringing the people with you.
Well, it's Louisiana, and I've said it many times. I'm back home. I want to do something at LSU and for our state, and I think we've done that. But I also want to acknowledge and show appreciation to those who put me in that head coaching position. Because without them and the lessons I learned in basketball, I wouldn't be where I am today.
That's amazing. So behind you, there's a jersey that says Mulkey 650, and that was from year before last, right? 650 wins?
I really don't know. I don't know how many wins I have. You may know that.
I think that you're getting close to 700.
Okay, that was presented to me on the number of wins, but Jan, I really don't keep up with it. I know what we did.
692?
Yeah, I know what we did last year. We won a national championship, and we only lost 2 games, but I can't really tell you how many games we won. Wow. Those aren't important to me. What's important to me is putting young people in a position to do something they've never done, and cutting down nets is something very few people in the profession have done. But one day, maybe in my rocking chair, I'll remember how many I won and how many I lost, but right now, I couldn't tell you any of that.
Not with it. I noticed behind your desk over here, there's some bronze, looks like bronze tennis shoes. Mm-hmm. Are those yours?
Yes. I think those were given to me when I was growing up. I wore in high school the old Chuck Taylor purple high tops. I didn't like them, didn't want to wear them, but that's what the team was wearing. And then in college, it was the top 10 Adidas low cut shoe, and so I think that's what you're talking about. And then when my career was over, for some reason, I still had those shoes, and those were given to me as a gift. So, yeah, they make for good conversation.
Very interesting. I think they're the first full-size grown adult shoes I've seen bronze. So, and the other thing I want to ask you about is, even going back before 8th grade, I hear that you played Little League boys baseball. Were you the first girl in your area to play?
Well, in our area, it was called Dixie Youth.
Yeah.
And then after you were 12, you moved up to what was called Pony League. Mm-hmm. I've been told that I was one of the first. I can't tell you if that's factual or not, but it was in our area. And I played 1 year of Dixie Youth baseball as a 12-year-old. And made the all-star team, and that's where a little controversy took place when we went to the, I don't know if it was the regional tournament or what, but I was not allowed to play. I was not even allowed to sit in the dugout. And then the next 2 years, I played Pony League, and I made the all-star team my second year of Pony League as a second baseman, and we didn't have that same issue by the time I was in Pony League.
2 years, they had made a little bit of progress.
I think so. I think so.
What position did you play? Second base the whole time?
No, in Dixie Youth, I played shortstop, pitcher, and catcher.
Wow.
And I was the first pick in the draft the year I tried out. And then my second 2 years of Pony League, I was second base. And wonderful memories, just absolutely wonderful memories. And I just, sometimes when I go back to Hammond to see my mom, I think of those moments, and then one day I decided to drive around just to see if those parks look the same, and they do.
Do they really?
They do.
Oh. And so, speaking of your mom, is she coming tonight for the game?
My mom doesn't miss many home games. Now, she did miss the national championship in Dallas, and I can't tell you why. I don't know. You'd have to ask her, but I just looked up and they said she wasn't coming. She was in front of the TV with all her friends watching, but she doesn't miss many home games. She's usually behind our bench on the second row behind my son Kramer, and Kramer tells me some of the things she says up in the stands, and he has to warn her, Gran, you don't need to say that. And she'll tell him, well, you're the only one heard it. But she's proud as any mother would be, and she loves these kids. She gives them her own little nickname, and she has no problem when she's at my house asking me questions about them, and she has her little favorites, and her favorites, you would be surprised, are not going to be the ones that are the big names. She really, really loves watching them play.
So speaking of Kramer, how is he doing and what is he up to these days?
Kramer's great. He's living the life. He's single, doesn't, have to worry about changing a diaper. Kramer is 29 now. He just finished his last year with the Cardinals. He's a free agent. He's living in Baton Rouge, and he hopes in January to find another team and that someone will pick him up. But he's doing great. He loves Baton Rouge. I mean, he just loves LSU, and I've never seen him as engaged in one of my teams as he is now, and that has to do with the fact that this is his school.
Right.
But he is engaged and just can't get enough of it.
Well, you must be loving having him here.
Well, I wish he would stay at my house. I tell him it's rent-free, but at 29, it's not cool to live with your mom. But he does. He does enjoy having me here. Baseball's such a grueling sport, so he's here usually from October to February and gets to see the majority of the games. Now, when it gets to playoff time, he struggles because he has to watch it on TV.
Do y'all get to eat together often?
As much as we would like, but not as much as you would think. He's got that baseball mindset. He sleeps late and stays up to the wee hours of the morning.
Like you, I'm sure.
No, I don't stay up late like he does. I do wake up throughout the night, but he's just, he's living the life. Like I said, he doesn't have a bill to pay. He doesn't have a diaper to change. He's not married. He's single, and he can do what he wants to do.
As can you.
Well, I have bills to pay, and I have lots of pressure to put a product on that floor that's good, but I am living a wonderful life. I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I'm blessed to have people that work for me that are just good at what they do, and they keep me young. They really do.
Before we started taping, you mentioned that we're talking about biscuits, and you talked about your grandmother's biscuits. Tell me about those biscuits now.
Well, my paternal grandmother lived right across the pasture from us, and where I grew up in Tickfaw out in the country, and she just made homemade biscuits, and I don't know that anybody in the family has the recipe because they were unique in that they were tall. Biscuits are usually like this, but she made them real tall, and all this was full of dough, and the bottom was good and crunchy. And I would watch her as a little girl growing up, and all I can remember is that she would take her fingers and just pat them down.
With her
knuckles and with her fingers, and I just thought, why do I remember that?
Yeah.
And she would make us biscuits, and
would you butter them and eat them with?
Oh, blackburn syrup.
For the win.
Listen, that's the only syrup that I will have, and
my husband calls it motor oil.
Oh, it's thick and it's good. It's not too maple. I don't like maple syrup, that real thick kind. It's just thick enough, and you put a lot of butter on it, and forget the jelly. People that put jelly on their biscuits, no, put that blackburn syrup and you'll never go back to jelly.
I'm with you, Kim, on that one. So another question I had that's do you play any games on your phone?
No, I don't have any games. This is what I do on my phone. I text, I check email, and I will FaceTime my grandchildren. And that's the extent of what I do on my phone. However, I shouldn't say that. I read 3 newspapers on my phone, and those are newspapers in Waco, and I read the Advocate on my phone, and then I will try to check the national news, but very carefully on which one I choose to go, because some of it's just way too much for me. I just won't, give me the facts, and that's it. I'll read newspapers.
So the season is upon us, and of course, one of the big questions a lot of people have is what fashion will Kim Mulkey be styling this season? So,
well, I don't know that. I think everybody knows that Queen of Sparkles gives me my jackets and clothes, and I'm forever indebted and grateful. So whatever they put on my bed and give me to choose from, I'll try to pick the one that I like, or maybe the one that fits me the best. It's kind of gotten kind of wild a little bit for my age. I look at these colors and these sequins and I go, I'm too old for that, and then I get talked into wearing it. But we'll see. I certainly have enjoyed not having to spend money on clothes. So I would imagine it's going to be pretty similar to what you've seen. I can't.
More sparkles are in the future.
Well, whatever they decide, you know, I'm not in the fashionista industry. I will let them put it on the bed, drop off boxes, and then just decide.
I know that you were planning to go to Disney World this summer with the grandkids. Did that happen?
We did. I know you know about the heart stents and all that. I delayed that procedure. I say I did with the, I don't know if I say blessing of my cardiologist, but he said, okay, we'll wait till you get back, because I wanted to take the kids, my grandkids, to Disney, and I did. And so what memories, and they're not going to remember it as much as I will. So you know what that means. We'll go back numerous times, but what the heck, if that's something as a grandparent you get to do with your grandkids, do it as many times as you can. And the beach, we go to the beach every summer. So
do you have a favorite beach?
Well, I'm going to always go to the Panhandle, so it's going to be anywhere from Destin all the way to Miramar, or 30A, just the Panhandle beaches. That's where I like to go, and I have to have a house on the water, because there'll be many of us going, and we all have different schedules, and I may wake up early and want to sit under an umbrella all day, and we do our own thing, but being on the beach itself is so important.
Did you grow up going to the beach pretty often?
Not growing up doing it. I started doing it in college, some, and then when I got married, started having kids, I like being on the beach. I love listening to the waves. I love reading. And when I was younger, I loved laying out in the sun. And now as I get older, I don't do that as much, but I chase grandkids around on the beach, and we throw the ball and play games down there. So it's just a relaxing place for me.
Imagine playing games with Kim Mulkey on the beach.
Well, we do it. It becomes a competition on, I think, how far we can throw a tennis ball. And my daughter, she's got
competition.
Oh yeah, that's what we do. You can't play for fun in our family. Mackenzie has a cannon for an arm, and of course Kramer does. So then it becomes a competition on, who can throw it the highest, and then it's who can catch it right-handed, left-handed, who can throw it the farthest. So that's our entertainment on the beach.
You mentioned that you're reading sometimes. Are you reading anything in particular right now?
I am not reading anything right now. I do need to start another book. I have a stack like this, and I went through them the other day and thought which one will keep my interest during the season, and I hadn't really picked one yet.
What kind? Do you read fiction or nonfiction?
No, it's got to be real. It's got to be real. I'm not into novels, and I'm not into made up stories. My life can be a made up story. I want to read something that's real, and I look for a little bit of everything. It can be a real story about a person. It can be a crime story. It can be a lot of things. Just anything that catches, but it's got to be real. Anything that catches my eye.
Well, I don't know anybody much more real than you, Kim. So thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome, Jan.
We really
Thank you.
appreciate it, and best of luck for the season.
Go Tigers.
That's right.